And the last question of our big astronomy show, which is now 1 hour and 32 minutes in and counting, is from George A. Freeland, who asks, which star system would you like to own given available current knowledge of exoplanets? I would like to own the Sol system. That's the one I'd like to own because that's where the money is, in my opinion. So if I could pick one star system to own, I would own this one because that's where the money is. It's certainly where the great real estate is and the hot babes and the cool cars and the fast jets. That's where I would like to put down a marker. I know I'm being a little facetious here, but in a way I'm also not being facetious. I may be looking like I'm incredibly shallow. Am I incredibly shallow, or am I unbelievably deep? What I mean by that is this. It's a flip answer, but it's not only the solar system we know the most about. I'd be willing to bet you that of all the exoplanets that we found, none of them match Earth. And I mean even match Earth objectively. You can say, well, we love Earth because it's our planet and it's our home and we can survive here. Yeah, but anybody's ever looked at high-definition pictures of Mars from space, like, oh, you look at the moon, it's like, oh, it's so beautiful and rugged. And you look at Saturn, oh my God, the pastels and the rings, and Jupiter and the swirl and the pattern and the power and the size, and you're like blown away by all this. But you look at the Earth in space and it knocks the wind out of you. And it knocks the wind out of you because its beauty is not just a function of the fact, oh, that's our home. Because our home could be Mars. And we could look at Earth and think, well, Mars is our home. If I was a Martian and I'm a present-day Martian, I can't imagine a world where I'm a present-day Martian and look at Earth and Mars and not think, man, this Earth is blowing my planet away. Earth is astonishing. It's astonishing. I'm literally speechless. It's astonishing. Not just the beauty of it and the water and the clouds and the terrain and the weather. It's never the same. It's never ever been the same. Earth has never been the same ever over any pace from 1 minute to another. It's always been a little bit different. And you can't say that about the moon. The moon is pretty damn near the same every single day until some new object hits big enough to make a crater that we can see. But Earth is constantly changing, and then the miracles of all the forms of life and all the details of life and the history of life and animals that were here and aren't here anymore and all of that. But it's just spectacular on so many levels. It's so wondrous. It certainly is unique. There may be other planets like Earth, and there may be other planets that are so much like Earth that they are indistinguishable from Earth except for the outline of the continents or something. But even then, I'd have to be impressed. I really would have to be impressed. And by the way, you think, so many people are committing suicide over Avatar. They wanted to be the Na'vi so badly. They wanted to be these sleek, tall, blue aliens who could, have sex with plants through their hair and all this other stuff. But I thought the Na'vi planet, while very beautiful. Those first scenes walking through the bioluminescence, yeah, it's breathtaking, it's cool. But it's kind of boring, It's a jungle. Okay, fabulous. It's all a jungle, apparently. Yeah, pretty much all a jungle. No rocky cliffs, no desert Southwest, no Himalayas, no ocean, no Antarctica, nothing. No, it's all just one giant forest. We're all together. All right. Yeah, I'm bored. Earth, the variety of Earth, the landscapes from Earth, everything. And by the way, something else too we don't really appreciate. Earth's big. It's a big planet. I know it looks small compared to Jupiter. Jupiter. Yeah, well, Jupiter can't walk on Jupiter. Jupiter's a milkshake, and so's Saturn, and so's Uranus, and so's Neptune. They're giant milkshakes. They're not really planets. The terrestrial planets, Earth is the biggest. Venus is slightly smaller, but once you get Venus and Earth out of the picture, Mars is a quarter the size of the Earth, and from there it goes downhill fast. You look at Ceres, it's the size of Texas. That's the biggest of the asteroids of the minor planets. The Moon is a decent-sized minor planet, but it's a big planet. And I've flown over a fair part of it, and I can tell you how big this planet is. I've moved at 550 miles an hour over this planet. I've taken 18 hours to go from Thailand to Los Angeles, and virtually all of that is just H2O. I've flown from LA to the East Coast more times than I can count. And when you're heading home and you hit the Rockies, you think, man, I'm almost home. No, you still have an hour and a half west of the Rockies. You got an hour and a half of desert wasteland, uninhabitable wasteland, some of which is called Arizona, before you get to the coast. And even our coast, the California coast, LA is not noticeably different than Arizona, except that we've got people here. We can do a little irrigation. At least we could before the progressives decided to shut all this down to protect the sardine up there. So, yeah, man, it's Earth all the way. And one of the, just to put a little button on this, I didn't want to make this about space exploration, but when I was a kid and a young person, I was a lot more liberal than I was, and I was never anti-American, never anti-business, never anti-military, but more liberal than I am today, certainly. I used to think that if I could get in a spaceship and go to Jupiter or live on Mars, I wanted to live on Mars, live on the moon. I wanted to live on the moon so badly. I don't want to live on the moon anymore. I want to walk on the moon. I want to come home. I'd like to go to Jupiter, take a year or 2 or 3 or 4, and then come home and retire to my ranch in Montana. I don't want to live out there. I want to experience it, but I don't want to live there. And when you get to this idea that, you're going to be an astronaut, yes, you're going to live your life in a tin can, yes. If you'd asked me this when I was 14, 15, 7, 10, 20, 30, wasn't in my mid-40s when I started to think, you know what, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to live in a tin can or a base in a submarine, right? I don't think I want to live in a submarine. I want to ride in a submarine, but I want to live in a submarine. And that's important. And that kind of goes to this solar system I would pick too. Now, to answer your question in the form that you gave it, I'll give you the simplest little answer. If I could pick a solar system that wasn't ours, I'd pick Tau Ceti. The reason I'd pick Tau Ceti is I just like the sound of Tau Ceti. I think it sounds scientific and cool. Alpha Centauri's got I take it back. I take Alpha Centauri. I take Alpha Centauri because I'm of an age where, with Lost in Space and all of the studying I did, and all of the just research in the library, and ion drives and looking at this stuff when I was 13, and all this stuff, Alpha Centauri has a magic about it. It's got some snap, man. Alpha Centauri is Alpha frickin' Centauri. Where are you going? We're going to Alpha Centauri. All right, that's the shortest distance you can go and still go, and yeah, it's got some fun to it. Anyway, my friends, it's about 10 minutes to 8 Pacific time, which would make it a little bit before 11 out there on the East Coast. And I think somebody said they're watching from New Zealand, which is mind-boggling to me. But hello, Kiwis, hello, Aussies, hello, China, hello, Europe, hello, South America. It's absolutely spectacular and amazing.